Okay, so in this video, I decided to go fish for some stocked rainbow trout using some power bait. And when I got to the lake, nobody was there, so I had the dock to myself. It was super windy, but I got right on out there and got ready to catch some nice rainbow trout. So I casted my rods out with power bait on all of them. It didn't take very long. It was hard to see a bite with the wind, but eventually I saw a rod bend and I had my first trout on. It was fighting really good, and I could tell that it was a nice one. The wind was really ripping, and this fish was going crazy. Eventually I got it in, and it was a beautiful rainbow trout. A nice, healthy fish. And before I know it, my second fish was biting. I had another fish on. The second fish was on, and I could tell it was a decent one also. Wasn't fighting as hard as the first one, but still a good trout. Got it in the net as well, and I took some pictures. Beautiful, beautiful fish. I even kept the bigger of the two to take home and grill because trout are delicious. I cast it right back out. So I sat, waited, and got another bite before too long. And what do you know, it was another rainbow trout. This one I hooked pretty close to the dock, so the fight didn't last very long. But it was another good fish, and I got him in the net, got him on the dock. Got him released, and it was back to sitting and watching rods, waiting for another bite, which didn't take very long. I was starting to lose track of fish and starting to hook up with them almost faster than I could keep up with at this point. It was a lot of fun, and the wind wasn't letting up. I thought I was going to get this one caught in the tree, but managed to get it around and get it onto the dock. It was another beautiful fish. We went ahead and got it released, and it swam away. The bite was great, and I hooked up with another one pretty quick. I could tell right away that it was probably the biggest one yet. During the fight, I ended up falling down on the dock, but it still got the fish in, and I was right. It ended up being a very nice one. So I decided to put that one on the stringer with the other fish and have two fish to take home for dinner. Just a few minutes later, I noticed out of the corner of my eye my rod was bending, and sure enough, it was another rainbow trout. This one jumped out of the water and it was fighting pretty good. Ended up getting it in the net, and it was just as beautiful as the others. So I got some photos and got it released. And the action just continued as the fish kept biting out there. Hooked up with another one. Could tell it was another decent fish. This one was jumping and going crazy, which I love when they give a good fight, and I got it in the net just like the rest. And it wasn't the biggest fish of the day, but it sure was a pretty one. I didn't get much of a break before I got a good takedown from another fish. And it fought pretty good, but not as good as I would have thought from that huge takedown. It was splashing around and almost got caught in my other line. Somehow I ended up falling down on the dock again. But I landed the fish, which is what's important, and I'm glad I did because it was a gorgeous fish. One of the prettiest ones of the day for sure, with excellent markings on it. This day just kept getting better and I was loving it. I was hooked up again before long and caught the smallest fish of the day. After that, somebody showed up, but I didn't mind. I told him that the bite was really good and I was catching a lot of trout, and just then, as I was telling him that, my rod bent and I hooked up with another fish. Fought that one and ended up getting it in. It was another smaller trout. After that, the bite slowed down a little bit, maybe about 20 minutes, and then I got another one. Finally had a little bit of time to breathe before this one. This was another really nice fish that I hooked, and it was splashing me like crazy. Went to net it, somehow for a third time ended up on my butt on the dock. Not sure what was going on. I think it might have been slippery. But again, ended up netting the fish, landing it, and it was another nice one. I decided to put that on the stringer with the other two, the limit being 4, and now we've got 3 of our 4 to take home for dinner. After not being out the lake very long at all, and catching over a dozen rainbow trout, The bite slowed down around sunset. I said goodbye to my buddy, took my fish with me for dinner, and decided to call it a night after an excellent day of fishing.